Hi class, here we are, Tuesday of week 3 already. Can't believe how fast this is going. I wanted to just go over a couple of things as you begin working on your week 3 assignments. So far, I have graded, from last week, I've graded the APA quiz and the short writing assignment 3, as well as gave you feedback on your working thesis statement. Like I've always said, and I will keep saying, please read my feedback. I go, I take a lot of time to make sure I give you enough feedback so that you do well on future assignments. That's always my goal, is to let you know where you need some improvement so that you do well the next time. One thing, though, I did think about as I was grading your writing assignment where you were summarizing those 5 sources. A couple of you mentioned, oh, this is a biased author, so I shouldn't use it. That's not necessarily true. If you can tell that an author has bias, that in and of itself is not a bad thing, as long as the author is providing evidence to support their bias. So if you're reading an article or something and the author is clearly biased but not giving any reasons to back up their opinion, then yeah, you need to just get out of there, not use that source, and find something else. But if you can see an author is arguing his or her opinion but giving you information, giving you the information where they found their sources, or citing the information, or referring to a study, or giving you a list of references at the end, that is totally fine to use that source in your paper. Also, I want to explain why I was so picky with the APA quiz. You were specifically looking at how to format the in-text citations. One of my colleagues at Benedictine teaches in the online program like I do. He teaches MBA courses, and he and I just by chance were having a conversation the other day, and he said he gets so annoyed when students don't put the period in the correct place after a citation. And, I kind of chuckled and said, oh yeah, I try to push that in the research writing class. So there are instructors outside of writing instructors who really will be picky. And I would much rather, I'm picky grading your APA quiz, which is only worth a few points, and that you learn to do it properly so that later on when you're in another class, an instructor doesn't take off points on an important assignment. So I'm picky because I know other instructors will be picky. So please don't take it personally if, I'm constantly pointing out, hey, the period goes here, not here, or it's little p period, not PAGE. I'm doing that. I want you to learn it now in this class so that you're not making those mistakes as you move along with your degree. Also, there's kind of a weird rule with APA about when to use page numbers. Technically, you only have to use a page number in the citation when you're quoting. The APA rule for paraphrasing information, in other words, information that you're just putting into your own words, the APA rule is you don't have to have the page number. Actually, if you've got your text in front of you, the St. Martin's Handbook, on page 455, number 2 says, basic format for a paraphrase or summary. Include the author's last name and the year as in model number 1, but omit the page or paragraph number unless the reader will need it to find the material in a long work. I have done countless hours of research trying to figure out what APA means by, quote, long work. Can't find it anywhere. So you might think a long work is 5 pages, and I might think a long work is 20 pages. So it's kind of up in the air. I believe my argument as a writing instructor is include the page number unless it's more than one page. It's not going to hurt to include it. So if it's only a one-page article, then you don't need to put the page number because obviously it's on that one page. If it's more than one page, I like you to include it. I just want to point that out, that technically you don't have to have the page number if you're not quoting it. You only have to have the page number if you're quoting the information. But please include the page number for me on your research paper so that when I'm grading it, I can figure out what page you're talking about. Okay, let's quickly look at this week's assignments. If I can get my mouse to work properly again. It is so goofy when I'm using this recording tool. Okay, I'm going into the content browser. We're going to look at week 3. So, the first writing assignment that you have is called Integrating Sources. I've taught this class for many, many, many years, and that's one of the biggest things that students tell me they have trouble with. Like, how do I paraphrase, or how do I summarize, or how do I include a quote so that it seems natural? So that's how this assignment was created. So what the instructions ask you to do is to go down to the resource submodule, and download this document, this Word document. And I've already downloaded it. So it looks like, oops, let me scroll up here. All right, so I'm at the top of that document. It's asking you to, well, of course, you need to read the directions, but what you're going to do is type your responses right on this document in green type so that I can quickly find your answers. And I cannot get this to move down. There it goes. So the first place you'll need to type is right here. So just, type your answers in green. And then type your answer here. And again, if you can just make your answer green so it's easier for me to see it quickly, that would be great. So basically, you only need to type where you see type such and such here. So like here's another example under number 3. Number 4 asks you to go back to number 3 and change some things. So once you finish, I believe it's 7 questions, save it and then upload that to the Dropbox. And then here is Short Writing Assignment 5, that document that you need to download. You can find that in the Week 3 Resources submodule. So again, you're just typing right on this document. So I've already got the formatting done for you. It's asking you to delete the italicized text and type your information in its place. So right here, you're going to delete that and then just continue typing. Same here. You're going to want to put in your working thesis, which is, what you did last week and I gave you feedback on. So obviously read my feedback and type where you are now with your thesis. The 3 points, you can have more than 3 points, but you need to have at least 3 points. So these are the 3 things that you've indicated in your thesis statement. Now remember, you also need to consider the opposing view, which you had that quiz, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about why you should include the opposing view. So think about how someone would disagree with the points that you're making and then outline those in Roman numeral 4 and Roman numeral 5. Once you're done with that, save that document and then upload it to the Dropbox. There are no discussions this week. So really you're just working on your quizzes and working on your short writing assignments. Oh, also short writing assignment 7, we're going to refer to that article that you've looked at. It was back in week 1. You can find that article in the resources submodule. And I don't know why it won't. There we go. It's that return on an investment article about getting a college degree. So writing assignment 7 asks you some questions about how the authors cited information. So it's to kind of see in practice what APA citations in the reference page look like. So no discussion this week, you're just completing some assignments. As always, let me know if you have any questions. You can always email me at alaken@ben.edu. Thank you. Good luck.